Welcome back to Building Character, where we figure out how to play as your favorite fictional characters in Dungeons & Dragons. Remember to like and subscribe to make sure your corporate overlord remembers they own your IP. Maybe. When my personal hero, Matsuhiro Sakurai, said Banjo would be in Smash in the fall, I assumed he meant the fall. Unfortunately, I measured my seasons with the solstice, when we all know that the government officially starts fall when you can get a pumpkin spice latte at Starbucks. But if you're sad you can't have Banjo 3E, hopefully some Banjo 5E will tide you over. Let's start off with our goals for this build. First, we need a bird in our backpack that can pop out or hide whenever we want. Next, we'll make sure that the bird can carry us, figuratively and literally, with the power of flight. Finally, we'll make sure that we can bear down on enemies ourselves with the powers of a bear. For stats, we're using the standard point array from the player's handbook. Roll for stats if you want, just keep your strength and charisma high. Charisma will be number 1, both you and your avian life partner are named after musical instruments. Strength after that, bears be strong. Dexterity next, bears be strong, but this bear also be quick. Constitution will follow, I'm tired of saying bears be, but yeah, bears be thick. Wisdom is lower than I'd like, we just need other things more, and we'll dump intelligence. When your catchphrase is duh, you're probably not winning any spelling bees. For your race, bugbears have little in common with bugs, instead being big, furry, anthropomorphized bear people. You get +2 strength and +1 dexterity, 60 feet of dark vision, long limbs to extend your melee attacks by 5 feet, you have a powerful build to carry a large amount of things in your backpack, you're sneaky, giving you this stealth proficiency, and you can make a surprise attack to deal an extra 2d6 damage in a surprise round once per combat. For your background, the entertainer gets performance and acrobatics, making you a natural for playing the banjo and platforming. I guess September is Bard month, it's fine, music mages have been underrepresented on this channel for too long. Grab 3 skills of your choice, athletics, survival, and animal handling would be my picks. You get bardic inspiration, letting you give an ally a d6 to add to a d20 roll with some sweet finger plucking. For your cantrips, minor illusion lets you harmonize, creating an illusory sound, though I don't know how a sound can be an illusion. Do people not really hear it? Mending lets you instantly repair a small tear in something to patch up your backpack if one of the straps comes loose. For your first level spells, animal friendship lets you charm an animal that fails a wisdom save of 8 plus your proficiency bonus and charisma modifier. Most animals have medium wisdom at best, so get friendly. Featherfall lets you and 5 friends avoid falling damage as a reaction, which is a godsend in a platformer. I fell off Mumbo Mountain so many times as a kid. If you can't find an animal to be friends with, maybe find something else. This build gave me trouble, not gonna lie. A ranger's animal companion can't make you fly. How do you translate shooting eggs into D&D? And how do I get a backpack bird that I can hide at a moment's notice to avoid harm? The answer is that you sell your bare soul to Shadowfell. Banjo is a warlock, Kazooie is a descendant of the Raven Queen, and I really need some sleep. I'm not used to putting builds together this fast. First level Hexblade warlocks get Hexblade's Curse, letting you pick a target to take out extra fast for a minute. You crit them on a 19 or 20, deal extra damage equal to your proficiency bonus when you hit them, and heal an amount equal to your charisma modifier and warlock level when you slay them. Ever wonder why Banjo's enemies drop health when they die? It's because Banjo is an agent of Shadowfell. Wake up, sheeple! For your cantrips, egg blasting has to be covered, and like any good warlock in doubt, I decided to use Eldritch Blast for this. It fires off ranged attack beams, dealing 1d10 force damage, and can be buffed later with invocations. I had mentioned True Strike as an option, but every time I do, brings out the Fury of 1,000 Storms, so don't take it. But if you did, it takes a turn to use and gives you advantage on an attack roll. You can aim in the game, that's a steady shot. For your first level spell, Expeditious Retreat lets you dash as a bonus action for a nice little bird walk. Protection from evil and good abjures you against aberrations, celestials, fiends, fae, and undead, forcing them to attack you with disadvantage, and you become immune to effects of charming, frightening, or possession from these types. Grunty is a witch, witches are hags, hags are fae, and you're not afraid of her, so rally and save Tootie. Now you're multi-classing spellcasters, but I personally believe it's easier to track this with Warlock. Basically, you have all the slots you'd have from leveling up in different classes separately, but you can cast Warlock spells with Bard slots and vice versa. Second level Warlocks get invocations. Beast Speech lets you cast Speak with Animals at will, which lets you speak with animals at will. So your duhas and Kazooie's ba-ba-bas can mean something. Well, when you get Kazooie at your next level. Repelling Blast pushes a creature 10 feet when you hit them with an Egg-Rich Blast. Those egg beams hurt. This build really kicks off at the 3rd level of Warlock, when you can grab Pact of the Chain, letting you cast Find Familiar for a familiar feathered friend. You can summon a small animal creature. I'd go for a hawk. It's the closest to a red-crested breagle as we're gonna get. You can cast touch range spells through this creature, and they can attack since you're a warlock. However, a hawk's attack in D&D is really bad, so don't do that. You can summon or dismiss your familiar as an action to put the bird back in the pack. Since you're a warlock, you could also grab grab a pseudo dragon if you want to do a Spyro crossover, but let's keep it standard for now. For a touch range spell, Spider Climb lets you climb walls and ceilings. It's a bit of an upgrade from the steep slopes in the games, but who doesn't love a buff? 4th level Warlocks can grab an ability score improvement or a feat, and the Tavern Brawler bumps up your strength or constitution by 1. I'd actually go for your constitution. You can make unarmed attacks and improvised weapon attacks with proficiency, and they deal at least 1d4 damage, being able to grapple as a bonus action after you make such an attack. This lets you beat up baddies with your bare hands. Get it? I said bare hands. Bare hands. 5th level Warlocks can learn 3rd level spells. Fly lets a creature you touch fly, or more accurately, a creature Kazooie touches, so you can soar through the air for up to 10 minutes depending on your concentration. You can also grab an invocation. Gift of the Depths lets you breathe underwater and gives you a swimming speed, so you can experience Grant Kirkhope's score in slow underwater glory. A 3rd multi-class might seem excessive, but Barbarian is something we need for unarmored defense, making your AC 10 plus your dexterity and your constitution modifier while you're not wearing armor, and I'm pretty sure a backpack doesn't count as armor. You can also enter a rage to resist non-magical physical damage, get advantage on strength checks and saves, and deal extra damage with strength-based attacks. I know nobody is looking for more bear puns, but come on, he's a barbarian. 2nd level Barbarians get reckless attack, letting you get advantage on your attacks for 1 round by giving your enemies advantage on attacks against you. You also get Danger Sense, giving you advantage on dex saves against spells and traps you can see. I've said this before, but this is one quick bear. 3rd level Barbarians can choose a primal path, and the Path of the Totem Warrior lets you pick an animal you identify with. I'd go for a bear. This lets you resist all damage but psychic while you're raging to fully embrace your bearitage as a bugbear barbarian. Back over to Bard now. 2nd level Bards get Jack of all trades, letting you add half your proficiency bonus to skills you're not proficient with. You're kind of an all-arounder. This gives you more coverage. Song of Rest lets you soothe friendly creatures with a banjo, healing an extra d6 on short rests. For this level spell, Long Strider increases your movement speed by 10 feet for a minute for some extra Kazooie speed. 3rd level Bards get Expertise and 2 skills of their choice. I'd take Performance and Animal Handling. You can also choose a Bardic College, and the College of Valor is perfect for action bards like you. Combat Inspiration lets your allies add inspiration die to damage rolls or use it to buff their AC against an attack. That's the power of a banjo, baby. For this level spell, check out Animal Messenger, which lets you send a tiny animal to deliver a message for you to someone within 25 miles or 50 miles if the animal can fly. Send one of Kazooie's relatives to deliver a message for you. You got witches to slay. 4th level Bards can grab an ability score improvement, and good lord, it took us a while to get one. Bump your constitution and your charisma for more HP, AC, and inspo die. For this level spell, Locate Object will help you get jiggy with it, revealing the location of an object you describe within 1,000 feet of you. Only restriction here is if it's behind a lead wall, so hopefully the puzzle pieces are just left out in the open. 5th level Bards get a Font of Inspiration, letting you recover inspiration die on short rests. Those die also bump up to d8s at this level for way bigger damage with Combat Inspiration. For the spell at this level, get some more consistent healing with Cure Wounds from the 1st level, healing 1d8 plus your charisma modifier as an action, and it's a touch spell, so Kazooie can go play medic if you need her to. 6th level Valor Bards get an extra attack, letting you attack twice instead of once with your action for a flurry of bear claws, which is also what I had for breakfast this morning. You also get Counter Charm, letting you give your allies advantage on saves against being charmed or frightened, because nobody can be afraid when they hear banjo music. For your spell at this level, Heroism from the 1st level gives a creature immunity to being frightened and temporary HP equal to your charisma modifier at the start of each of their turns. Again, banjo music is the perfect weapon against fear. 7th level Bards can learn 4th level spells. Polymorph might technically be a mumbo jumbo thing, but it'll be a while before I'm building NPCs from a 20-year-old game, so let's just take the spell here. This turns a creature you touch into a beast of challenge rating less than or equal to their current challenge rating. If it's a player character, the challenge rating is their level, so you got no limits on beasts you can morph into at this level if you're turning yourself into the animal. If someone doesn't want to be a T-Rex, they can make a wisdom save to resist, but they're losers. 8th level Bards get another ability score improvement, and you've got options. I'm going to recommend the Constitution. Banjo can take quite a few hits late in the game, and +2 will balance it with your strength and charisma. For this level spell, Freedom of Movement lets you really boogie, giving a creature you touch immunity to difficult terrain, paralyzation, and restraint. They can also use 5 feet of movement to break out of manacles and don't lose speed in the water. Kazooie eats difficult terrain for breakfast, then spits it out and grabs some birdseed. Don't eat the ground. 9th level Bards can learn 5th level spells, and Awaken will let Kazooie become the brains of the operation that she always was. It takes 8 hours to cast, but it gives a beast or plant of your choice an intelligence score of 10, the ability to speak one language, and charms them for 30 days. ways. They decide if they want to stay friends afterwards based on how you treat them, so maybe don't slam her around by the neck. Just hit people with your bear arms. Your Song of Rest also increases to a D8. 10th level Bard is a big one. Expertise and 2 more skills. I take athletics and acrobatics. You're from a platforming game after all. Your Bardic Inspiration also increases to a D10 for really big Banjo-inspired beatings. Finally, you get Magical Secrets for 2 spells from any list. Conjure Animals is a 3rd level Druid spell. It summons 1 beast of challenge rating 2 or lower, 2 beasts of challenge rating 1 or lower, 4 beasts of challenge rating 1/2 or lower, or 8 beasts of challenge rating 1/4 or lower for up to an hour, depending on your concentration. Now you can double that amount with a 5th level spell slot, so call a giant eagle a Jinjo and bring 4 of them to take out Grunty. Is it Jinjo or Jinjo? I've only ever seen it written. The other spell's a bit underwhelming, but Jump is a 1st level spell from pretty much every list but Bard. Triples your jump distance for a minute. Since this isn't concentration, it can be a really nice last-ditch maneuverability spell when you run out of higher slots. 11th level Bards can learn 6th level spells, and Otto's Irresistible Dance lets you use Grant Kirkhope's bouncing score to hamper your foes. It instantly forces a target of your choice to start dancing, making them unable to move. They have disadvantage on attack rolls and dexterity saves, and your allies have advantage to attack them. If they want to end this, they can attempt a wisdom save on their turn, but that save is their action, so it could waste their turn. The hardest part of a Banjo Kazooie game is playing it while dancing, but you can't not dance. Our capstone is the 12th level of Bard for an ability score improvement, bump your charisma for harder saving throws, and more beautiful banjoing. Now that we've hit level 20, let's figure out how viable this build is. First, you're a Scald to aspire to, with a nice balance of Bard and Battle. You've also got lots of great support options with Inspiration Die and Kazooie to give out touch-ranged buffs. Finally, you've got movement options galore, truly a premier platformer. For weaknesses, it's funny that you have an ability called Jack of all trades because you really are a master of none. Your melee modifier isn't capped, your casting modifier isn't capped, your constitution isn't capped. You're good at everything but don't really excel anywhere. You've also got a lot of concentration spells, and while you can hold it well, you still can't use 2 at a time. Finally, there's a reason Kazooie stays in your backpack. She has 1 HP, and if she dies, it'll take 10 minutes for you to find Familiar and bring her back, basically taking away all the utility buffs she provides. But that's why you have a backpack. Buff your friends, bash your foes, and do it all with a goofy grin. Just remember, you've got a complicated pool of abilities, so don't get bogged down by the nuts and bolts. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, subscribe for more. We normally only make 2 videos a week. If I'm being totally honest, the last couple of builds have been big on flavor and low on mechanical function. But the next 3 videos I'm going for are straight up power builds, so I hope you enjoy them.